We are here with season 2, episode 3 of Motivational Mondays. We got our man Chris. If you would go ahead and tell people about yourself.
Yeah, hello. I'm Chris, or ChrisC90 online, across everywhere. I'm somewhat of a variety streamer, apart from the variety of the streaming part, um, or the consistency part. But we're getting back. We're getting back.
Yes. And that's on Twitch, right? Twitch.
Yes,
When you
Twitch
do.
and YouTube. I actually have more videos on YouTube than I have streamed this year, or since 2023. So, YouTube probably is where I'm doing more stuff. I think my Twitch days are going to be like twice a week, but I'm going to try and get a wee bit more consistent on YouTube for actual videos.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. All right, so you know how this goes. How would you define motivation, or what does motivation mean to you?
Um, uh, Motivation to me is finding it in all the little things. Like, to me, everything and anything can be motivation, and trying to put like trying to put it into like as one thing is always going to be a losing battle for me. Like, there's so much that I have pushed through that has motivated me to keep on going, to really define it as one thing.
So what kind of things have motivated you to keep going?
Um, Kind of like a lot of life stuff, a lot of things with like ADHD, constantly being told, "Oh, you're lazy. Oh, you can't do this. Oh, you can't do that," and it kind of spurred me into the kind of, well, watch me. Or someday that's neurodivergent, can I run a business, or can I do this, or can I do that? Fucking watch me. I've done all those things. So, like, I would say kind of like the biggest one is people saying that you can't do something. Anybody, because it just has this kind of drive where it's going, right, well, thanks for that, now I have to prove you wrong, kind of thing.
Yep.
um and vice versa, when I'm going to do something and somebody says do that, it flips the other way, and it's like, do you know what, I'm not going to do that, fuck you. um but in the actual positive part, I think the biggest thing is proving myself and proving to other people that I can do it is probably a big drive, because going through kind of primary school and secondary school and that, and being told, oh, you won't be able to do this or you won't be able to do that, I was like, let's see.
Yeah, 100%. I do that sometimes too,
Yeah.
especially well in my relationship. She'll be like, "Do this." I'm like, "Nope, you do it. Don't tell me to live my life."
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a thing for a lot of people too. Is hearing that you can't do something or you won't do something, and using that as motivation is definitely a big thing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of people have heard they can't do something, and you know what? Now you just challenge me to prove you wrong, so I'm gonna do it out of spite, more or less. Whether I do it,
Exactly.
whether I can do it or not, I'm gonna try.
Yeah, no, exactly that. Exactly that.
Okay, so what got you into content creating and streaming? Was it a certain streamer? Was it watching something on YouTube, people on YouTube?
Funnily enough, there's two people, two and a half people, um, that I always put down to where I am in content creation, and that's you and Docs. Because before anything, it was a random COVID pandemic night where I found Sweet Anita on YouTube. Just a random ass video. Don't know why it was recommended, but it was. And I'd never, I'd heard of like Justin TV, and I didn't know that it had turned into Twitch or what Twitch was and all that kind of stuff. And it was through her video where it was like live streams on Twitch. It was like, well, I liked the video, I liked what she had to say and represent, so I'll check it out. And then that one faithful August evening where she raided into you, that kind of spurred it on, and watching you kind of do your thing and enjoy yourself, and just it was less about content creating, it was more about hanging out and kind of just having fun, vibing, gaming and stuff like that. And it was Docs had said that it would be really, really fun to watch me do like the horror games and stuff like that. And it was talking to you kind of a wee bit nervous, unconfident and stuff like that. And it was between you and Docs that kind of was like, just fucking go for it. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, so that was pretty much what started everything. That was what got the ball rolling. And then once I started getting into a lot more like the horror games and stuff, and the reactions to them, and just enjoying it, and seeing other people enjoy it, it was like, no, I think I think you guys were right. This is something that I think I could get right into and actually enjoy. So, um, yeah, the motivation was you and Docs kind of telling me that I could do it, and it had been a good while since somebody had actually said that I could do something, instead of it always being that you can't do something. So it was a
Yeah.
nice bit of motivation where it didn't feel as if I was having to prove people wrong. I was having to actually just have fun, and
Yeah.
that's kind of where that came from.
Yeah, and I'm glad you did. I'm glad you finally, I know you had a lot going on and you took a little step back now, but I'm glad you're finally getting back into it and at least doing YouTube videos, because your horror videos are hilarious. Just
Yeah, I really have to try and do a lot more horror stuff, because I have seemed to sway a wee bit too far away from it and doing a lot more like non-horror, and I think that's why I think I want to bring back where the thing where it is, it's not so much that I don't necessarily have the time, it's the attention of, I don't want to half-ass anything. I hate the thought of half-assing stuff. And if I'm constantly having to wonder if I'm going to get called away or if I'm going to have to do something else in the middle, it's a bit of a disservice to people that are watching and,
yeah,
and following. But I think I'm in a good place where I can consistently be like 2 days a week, where one day, or like, I think my plan is on a Tuesday with like Haba and Ghosty and Avery and stuff, just stream those 2-3 hours that we tend to do, and then on a Friday, I think I'm going to try and bring back like my solo horror and
yeah,
just have that as a designated horror night, because it's funny because I could stream on a Monday with Haba when we do that, and I could easily stream on a Wednesday with you, but it's weird because on a Wednesday, to me, it's more I get to hang out with you. That's all I want, and I don't
yeah,
want it to use it as content. I don't want to use it as anything else. My enjoyment comes from just, it's one day a week that I get to properly just hang out with you, be it the rest of the week you're working, the beginning of the week I'm doing stuff. Wednesday is just, that's how it is. And then having like Kate join, and Iron Demon join now and again, Boomer joining now and again, not as much now, but it's just that kind of way that constantly has that. It's just, to me it just feels like it's just friends hanging out, and I don't want, personally, I don't mind like you streaming and all that kind
yeah.
of stuff, and Kate streaming, that's I'm no timing that, but personally it's just like I just want to chill out with you guys and time it. So I think then like a Tuesday where I can just have fun and stuff like that, and then on a Friday bring back the horror and ruin my life again. Because that was one of the reasons I had to stop, was that I've got like actual diagnosed as a overactive imagination, where I can't shut off imagination and reality. So when I play like horror games and stuff, it's why like Football Manager is like such a real thing again for me is because I get sucked in so much where I'm sitting there going, I am the actual manager of this obscure Japanese third division team, that it's just like that's how my imagination kind of thing me. So when it comes to like horror, like the game that broke me was Madison. Madison was just too like I played it twice over the course of 2 weeks, and for 3 days after it, I was having genuine night terrors about this game, and that was why I had to kind of try and take a step back from the horror
Yeah.
aspect. But it's that kind of way. That was me doing almost horror like 3-4 times a week.
Yeah.
If I can try and bring that balance and consistency of, let's not do too much emotional damage here, but just the occasional horror game. Because there's so many horror games that I've played where the developers have brought out so many games, and I love to play like it's that kind of returning. Like they all have that sort of continuation thing.
Yeah.
So I really want to actually play more of it. It's just a case of trying to get into my head that it's not real and the monsters aren't going to kill me.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's a little crazy. I can't believe that that's a thing. I didn't even know it was a thing. So
Yeah,
is there like
things
is
to
there
do
like an
for
actual
fun.
like term for it, or is it just
I don't think there's necessarily a term. It was talking to my therapist. They were just like that. No, you've definitely got an overactive imagination. I'm just going to look it up and see, but um, I think that's just fantasy prone personality is apparently what Google gives you. And funnily enough, the second thing to come up in Google is, do people with ADHD have an overactive imagination? And it can be a condition from it. It's
yeah?
associated with it. So there we go. Everything full circle. ADHD makes me unable to play horror games more than once a week.
uh, that's funny. Kate said her Chris is the same way. It's a blast when he mixes in sleep talking. Oh God, I can only imagine. Uh,
I don't do that anymore. I used to do it now and again when I was younger, but as far as I know, that was a kind of prepubescent kind of
yeah.
uh, thing that I done, was just conversations about biscuits and toast in my sleep.
My sister, when she was younger, like off topic kind of thing, talking about sleep talking. When my sister was younger, she actually used to like sleepwalk and like have full blown conversations with you. And we were down at my uncle's in South Carolina the one year, and he walked past where she was sleeping, and she was literally sitting up in bed, like just up, not awake, looking at him. And he's like, "Hey, you good?" And they're like having a conversation back and forth. We're like, "Bro, just stop talking to her. She's asleep. Like she's not talking to you. Like she's talking, but she's not listening." Like, so I'm like, I guarantee you talk to her in the morning, she's not gonna remember anything you just said to her. Literally the next morning,
Yeah.
he's like, "Do you remember talking to me?" She's like, "No, I was sleeping." We're like, "No, you weren't." And the one time we were at my old house, and she literally fell down the steps. She said something at the top of the steps, and by the time we got there, all you heard was, "Do, do, 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 do," and she was at the bottom. We're like, "What the fuck just happened?" Like, Jesus Christ.
See, I
Uh,
think that is because that is something. It's not happened a lot recently because nobody comes in, but one of my biggest annoyances was that, like, my sister and my brother became very advantageous over that, because I used to do that as well. I mean, I might still do it, but um, they used to come in and ask to borrow stuff, like borrow money or borrow my car or borrow this or do that. And in my sleep, I would answer and be like, "Yeah, that's cool." And then I would wake up and be like, "Hey, where's my money? Or where's my car? Or where's with it?" And they're like, "Oh, you said I could use it." And it got to the point where my mum had to actually say to them, so, "Look, stop ripping the arse at this, because that's no fair.
yeah.
Like he does not know that this is going on, and you're taking advantage of that." So I definitely feel for your sister.
Yeah, she's grown out of it, thankfully, but it was pretty
Yeah.
funny when it was happening. Kate says, "I love watching the horror things. Chris brings a great deal of comedy to it." Yeah, it's because he gets scared and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Don't Scream was probably the best so far, I would say. That was good.
Yeah, I think if I was to rank like top 5 best horror games that I've played would be, or in the top 5 would be Visage, Alien Isolation. I love day 2 games. Madison was fantastic as a horror. Don't Scream. I'd love Don't Scream to have a lot more to it, like a lot
Yeah,
more content, because it feels like one through, that's you kind of done. Um, but the aspect and where it represented was phenomenal, and I'd
yeah,
love to play more of that.
kind of like a
And
Blair Witch kind of thing.
yeah, like it done Blair Witch better than Blair Witch done, because the Blair Witch horror game was fucking dog shit.
Yeah, it sucked.
So like the fact that Don't Scream was actually able to capture a lot more, like they have said that they're working on like making it less jump scare and actually have like storied, like it makes sense kind of thing. So I'm excited for that. And if I was to pick one more, I'd probably say there's a developer called Emika Games, and they're the ones that have done the, like, say, Summer of '58 and September 7th and Father's Day and stuff. Their their collection of games are absolutely phenomenal. I think I've only got 2 of them left that I haven't played, and it's their most recent 2. But I would put their entire collection in my top 5, along with, like, say, Don't Scream, Visage, Alien Isolation, and Madison, because those games were just, to me, that was what horror was
Yeah,
supposed to be about. Like, it gives you that. It's not like a constant jump scare. It's like that constant underlining fear that something might happen, even though it doesn't. It might. You have that feeling of something bad's going. Eventually,
yeah,
this is all going to go to shit,
yep.
and they've done it brilliantly.
Yeah, I think one of my like low key favorites was Haunted Investigation. Even though it was like so short,
Mm,
it had a lot of good like funny moments and like good jump scares where you
yeah,
didn't know. Like especially on your first playthrough, like the first playthrough was probably the best because you literally had no idea what was happening.
yeah,
And for
yeah.
especially for the price, like $5 for that, that's a steal. That was a great game, I think.
That's the thing that I did, like, especially like Emika Games. I can't remember paying more than like £6, £7 for one of their games. Like, if you get their games on itch.io, it's constantly 50% off. Like, if you don't want to pay £7, £8, you can get them for like £3.50, £4 on or itch.io.
Yeah,
Um, but I always think that those are the games that have that kind of, like, they go under the radar, and
yeah,
when you do play them, they're just, it's like, look at Inside the Labs. Like, I feel as if that's so much under the radar, and it's always a blast
yeah,
on a Wednesday when we play it. Yes, it's rage inducing sometimes, but again, it's an early access. They're constantly working and fixing stuff. What we complained about in the first time we played it is no longer an issue,
right.
so you know they're constantly working. Um, but yeah, the haunted investigation, I'd love for them to add more content to that and play like more maps kind of
Yeah,
thing, because it was the same with that Cursed Bed that me and Bill Bob played a lot. Like, the developers kind of taking a bit of time off and a hiatus and all that kind of stuff, which is things that are going on. But the constant new map and having to go through stuff like that, I think Haunted Investigation could, like, definitely do with just a wee bit extra, because I'd definitely go back to it because it was fucking
yeah.
brilliant.
It was great. It was a blast. So what would you say is the hardest thing when you were streaming to keep you motivated, to keep you going, to hit the go live button?
Um, see, this, it's one of the things where saying it out loud is going to sound really, like, I know you don't like to say things are stupid and dumb, but to me, this seemed like such a dumb reason to think, mate. Was that I genuinely, for some reason, see, every time I was going to go live, and even to this day, there's sometimes where I do plan on going live, and then I turn around and think to myself, nobody's going to show up. Nobody really cares and enjoys. There's no point. And that's the worst part in my mind, just switching itself off, because I am constantly inundated with people saying, "Oh, when are you going to stream again? It was really fun seeing you stream and all that kind of stuff." But it just seems to be this constant thing I can't shake, where it's like
Uh,
people don't care. So why put myself, because like it does take a good bit to kind of be on camera and be streaming and all that kind of stuff. Like, you look, when I started, it was through the PlayStation, and I did not want webcam.
Yeah.
It was until kind of a year and a half into streaming where I decided to go webcam, because everybody kept on saying your reactions to the horror games would be a lot better being on camera and being able to actually see.
Yep.
But it is one of the ones that I constantly have that. Oh, I hope you stream again. Like so, like yourself and Habba and Bill Bob, and then ADHD Truckers. He messages me every now and again, when's the next time you're going to be streaming, and it's like, I'd love to stream, but every time I try and go to it, my mind is just like, nobody's going to show up. And the last 3-4 times that I've streamed since December, numbers have been better than what they were before.
Yeah.
So it's not even a real excuse or reason. It's just it's trying to get like push through that. Like, it's always the same thing. So your biggest battle is against yourself, and I think that's what I need to try and figure out, is why I have this compulsion to think that nobody gives a fuck, when it's very evident that people do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just stupid.
Yeah. I mean, it happens sometimes. There's days where you could think nobody's gonna show up and everybody shows up, and then there's days where you think people are gonna show up and they don't. So I mean, that's the
No.
biggest thing about streaming, is it's such a mental game where you kind of just have to go into it like, I don't care if people show up or not. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
play with my friends and hope for the best, you know? 'Cause-
Yeah, I think that's where that's why I'm kind of trying to go for, like, even if it's 2 days, um, like on a Tuesday, I'll have other people there, so it's not as if I'll be focusing on other things, and then it works out. It's 1 day a week.
Mhm.
That's where I'm at. It's 1 day a week. I can do 1 day a week, and then try and just get it to snowball, and try and get it to, because it's like going to the gym. The hardest part is going to the gym. Once you're there, you'll have a great time. Like, once the endorphins start, once you start doing the workout, it's fantastic. Getting to there, that's the
Yep.
point. That's the difficult part. Um, so I just need to get beyond that first hurdle of just press the button. People will show up, and if they don't, who gives a fuck? Enjoy yourself.
Yep. And that's the way I started to look at it too, is like, I'm playing the game regardless whether I'm sitting in a room, you know, especially when I was first streaming and I was playing on Xbox. I'm playing the game anyway. It's not like I'm playing anything different. I'm either
Yeah.
gonna stream to the 2 people that are here or the 20 people that show up, but I'm still playing a game in my room that I've always done my whole life. So what the hell is the difference?
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably the better way to look at it, because it's completely true. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was only up until COVID where I actually started actually doing proper gaming. Like, before then, it was maybe an hour a week after work. Like,
Yeah.
it fit in, but when COVID happened and the pandemic and all the lockdowns, it kind of made it difficult to do anything. So that was when I actually started and actually fell in love with a lot more, because it was Football Manager and Warzone. That was what I played.
Yeah.
It was either or. It was either Football Manager alone or Warzone with my brother and my pal. Now and again, I'd played Grand Theft Auto 5 online with another mate, but that was it. And since um, starting to meet like all you guys and kind of being invited to play other games and join in and things, where I've actually started broadening my horizons until Pal World, and then that's the only fucking game that is allowed to be turned on in my PC right now.
Yeah, we gotta upgrade Kate's computer so we can start a server.
Oh, definitely, we need
What,
Kate playing,
what then we
because
might lose Kate though if she starts playing that. We might never see her again.
I mean, it's true, but we can also argue that we'll just have to get lost with her.
Yeah, Kate, we could do multiplayer servers and we could all play together and build stuff and capture all the Palmon.
Exactly.
Palmon, pals.
I mean, it's basically Palmon.
Yeah, it's the same thing. As long as Nintendo doesn't win, we're good.
Yeah.
And they're working on crossplay, so that way I could still keep it on Game Pass, and y'all can get it on
Yeah.
Steam, and
Yeah. That'll be the better way.
yeah.
Because then I won't have to ruin all my progression.
So what is something that you use as motivation, whether it be a phrase, a song, people, anything like that?
Funnily, like, I've actually already used it in this episode. There's a TV show, no many people have watched it, but it's actually amazing how many people have actually watched it when you actually there. There's a show called BoJack Horseman. It's like an animated series. BoJack Horseman is a horse human in a world where animals have crossed with humans and stuff like that. Um, and season two, the final episode, the final scene, um, BoJack Horseman is trying to better himself. The program is depressing as fuck. You cannot binge it. You watch 4 episodes or more, and you get put into a depressive fucking because it's just one of the shows. But the messages that come out of it is really, really good. And at the end of the season, he's trying to better himself by jogging, and he's jogging up a hill, and he's panting. He's saying, "He's like, I hate jogging, I hate running, everything. This is all stupid. This is so bad." And at the top of the hill, he collapses down, and he's timing. And there's another character that you see quite a lot, just as a background NPC kind of thing, of this baboon just jogging,
Yeah.
and it comes up kind of off camera, and he says it gets easier every day. It gets a little easier, but you got to do it every day. That's the hard part, but it does get easier. And that's one of the things that has just been a constant, like, motivation too, is like, it's difficult now, but you do it every day, it'll eventually get easier. It gets easier every single day. And that I use across the board, be it going to the gym to get fitter. It gets easier.
Yeah.
Things happening in life, it's shit right now, but it gets easier. That would probably be the most kind of used phrase for me throughout. Other than that, I'd probably say Frank Turner. A lot of his songs, he's got a song called "Get Better," which is pretty much like, um, "Get better because we're not dead yet. Just like you've got a
Yeah.
lot left in the tank. Just fucking keep going." And they work perfectly together. Like, it's just that kind of, no, we're no giving up.
Yeah.
It's really shitty right now. That's fair. Feel feel what you have to feel, but
Move the fuck
we're
on.
getting back to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Do you have any questions for me or Kate? Do you have any questions for us?
I think what I would probably think, mate, is you said that you started streaming just because you were playing games anyway and stuff like that. This second kind of like, you'd streamed all the way through like Twitch and all that kind of stuff, and then things personally happened, and you had that kind of step back. Once you started again, what has been the biggest kind of push of motivation to try? I wouldn't say harder, because you tried hard when it was the first time around, but what's kind of gave you that new lease to kind of, because you weren't pushing for the likes of like your partnerships and stuff like that is publicly, but this time around you seem to be a lot more public, and this is what I'm going to achieve kind of thing. What's brought that whole new aspect on?
Um, I think just giving myself a goal and wanting to reach something, like throughout recruits for especially Respawn, having a new challenge every week was definitely, the fire under my ass that I needed to kind of do something to kind of keep streaming, post YouTube videos, you know. I'm always out there supporting people, so that wasn't anything new, but definitely just like setting a new goal every week. I'm going to push out 2 YouTube videos. I'm going to do 3 streams, and I'm going to keep this schedule. I'm going to play this game this day, and just trying to find others to collab with, and just try to better myself every day, whether it be through streaming, trying to find partnerships that I want to be with that have the same, morals as me and things like that. And definitely just having the backbone of support, you, Kate, has definitely helped a lot. And I think that's like the main reason I've gone so much harder my third time around, is just knowing that you got, like, having the support and just needing to better myself and just push myself to my limits.
Yeah. That's a pretty good way to time me around. I'll
Uh,
definitely give you that fire in the under the arse.
yeah. And like, cause, and it wasn't anything like hard for the challenges, and that's what I think I liked about it the most, was just, try something new. So we played a horror game, we played, FIFA, just something that I've never streamed before. And then it was like collab with people. It was like, cool, I get to reach other people I've never really talked to. So it's gonna be, it's nerve wracking to actually reach out and hope they actually respond, but it was cool to get to play with so many different people. So it's like
Yeah.
things like that kind of pushed me out of my comfort zone. That really has pushed me to where I am now, and just pushing me farther. Kate said, what is something you're looking forward to this year, gaming or not gaming?
Oh, I've never. To be honest, it's hard for me to really. No, it's not that it's hard to look forward to anything, but I struggle to really let myself look too far forward. And this is going to sound really fucking depressing, but a big thing that I've always had to deal with is bitter disappointment. And I got too, I got there was too many times where I've looked forward to something and it's just not happened. And it's the age old, it is what it is. But when you're using it is what it is often, you're not having a good time.
Yeah.
And I think it really has been one of those ones where it's kind of driven in, where it's like I don't allow myself to get too excited about things in the future, because there's unless it's happened, it could still not happen.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, one thing that I'm really excited for, and it's quite close, is the Alien TTRPG that we're doing literally this coming Sunday is the episode 1. But it's like, even though I'm like super excited for it, there's still that niggling thing in the back of my head where it's like 4 of the 5 people are going to turn around on Sunday and say we can't make it, and it's just, that's it. That
Yeah.
there's nothing I can do about it. That's it, fuck, kind of thing. Even though I know everybody said no, 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 we're doing it and stuff like that. It still has that wee bit. So it's like, see, until 11 p.m. GMT on Sunday, once the first episode's done, then I'll be able to go, right, I was excited for that.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that we got to do it. But
Yeah.
until then, it's like there's things that I've seen that are going to happen where it's like, oh, that's going to be really, really cool when it actually happens. Like the Alien game, your birthday stream. Like, I'm looking forward to that, because like it's always a really fun time just to kind of chill or game or hang or anything like that. And then there's just other things with like sport and like fucking Super Bowl. I enjoy the Super Bowl every year, even though
Yeah. I'm not.
I'm
I don't think I'm gonna
fucking
watch it this year.
yeah, even though I'm 6,000 miles away from where it actually happens. Every year I have a fucking private party to myself
Yeah.
where I make corn dogs and fucking chili and fucking Doritos and dip. I go into the American store and get fucking Mike and Ike's, just
There you
because
go.
it's like, I'm American. But it's like, I'm just in my room myself.
Yeah.
Wishing that I was in my bed sleeping, because it's 6 in the morning and we're only a quarter into the fucking game, because we have to stop every 5 seconds to have somebody sing a song.
And all the Super Bowl commercials and
Exactly.
things
And
like
we don't
that.
even get the Super Bowl commercials because it's American commercials.
Yeah.
We just get the same fucking Toyota Yaris fucking driving through a movie set advert for fucking 30 seconds while you're getting Bud Light and fucking baby back ribs and shit like that. It's fucking bullshit.
That's funny. Uh, um, I don't really think I have anything crazy this year. I think I do want to try to go to PAX East, but that's about it. I don't have anything that. I don't think there's really
I
any
would
games
love
coming
to.
out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to do I'd love to do the likes of like PAX East or fucking TwitchCon and stuff like that, but
So expensive. So
it's
expensive.
expensive and like doubly expensive. Like I could go and do like the fucking TwitchCon Europe, but nobody that I actually do anything with
Yeah.
is based apart from like Bill Bob and UK's Monster. Uh, Nobody that I actually interact with and network with is actually based in Europe. So it's like I would be there myself
Yeah.
because Bill Bob wouldn't be able to make it. I don't think Monsters has really any want to go and do something like
Yeah.
that. I think he's just happy doing what he's doing. I think he's just waiting for the better weather to get back to fishing.
Probably.
But like if I was going to have to do something, it would have to be coming to America. Um, but again, I mean, don't get me wrong. I was looking at flights the other day with Zim because I was trying to prove a point as to how bad it is coming one way to the other way. Whereas he could get a flight from like Chicago to London and it was going to cost like $1,100 for a return. Whereas I can fly from Glasgow to Chicago for £472 return.
Yeah.
That was why I always, when my mate from America was coming over, I booked the flights because my flights were cheaper,
Yeah.
even though it was the same fucking flight,
Yeah.
but mines were cheaper because that makes sense. Um, so it's like I would have to come across there, but I think that's probably one of my biggest kind of. If I was going to set a goal, it would be like within the next 3 years, I want to get across to the States and try and do something where I can like come and do something with the likes of like you and Kate and stuff like that, and then go and do something with the likes of like Haba and get to see Docs and get
Yeah.
like. But you guys are so spread out as well. It's like I would have to come for like a month or two so that I can be on the East Coast and see everybody there, and then go to the West Coast and see everybody there. There's a
Yeah.
bunch of people in the centre. There's a bunch of people in the south. There's a
Yeah.
bunch of people in Canada, and it's like if yous could all just travel inwards, and then I'll just be there, it would be so much easier. But like that in itself is like is even more difficult. Like
Yeah.
try to get everybody to be able to be in the one fucking place at the one time is just
Yeah, that's the downside
fucking
of
shit.
online friends. Yep. Oh, I
Yeah.
mean, the plus side is me and Kate live in the same state, so you can see you can knock two out with one stone.
Yeah, well, I think that would have to be what I would have to do is just kind of be like, right, I'm gonna be in this state, like New York. Anybody that's within a couple of hours drive, come here, and then I'll move across to the next kind of block where it's within a 2 hour journey of people, and then I'll slowly make my way. I'll just hire a fucking RV and just traverse across the states
There you
and
go.
just meet up with everybody, and I'll just 6 months of the year I'll just have one big long holiday, and then I'll come back and figure out how to pay rent and feed myself for the next 13 years.
Or you just stock up while you're here and bring it all back.
That is true.
So funny question. Kate's Chris wants to know how much for you to record his voicemail.
I mean, it would depend on what he would want to say. Some certain words would cost a lot more. And I have a feeling that there's a distinct group of words that might be what's wanted, and that's going to cost a pretty penny.
Well, there you go, Kate. Let Chris know that that's the answer. And then Kate wants to know what was the game that got you guys really interested in gaming.
Got me really interested in gaming.
God, I've been playing since fucking Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I can remember
I'm old.
playing fucking the Sega Mega Drive, and it was I had the Lion King game, and I
Fuck
had a
that game.
oh, the Lion King game was that.
That and
See, if
Aladdin.
you cannot play the Lion King game, you cannot call yourself a gamer with unless you have felt the pain of getting to the second to last fucking jump of a 4 hour session, dying, not having a save file because Lion King didn't let you fucking save,
Yep.
and having to restart. You do not know gaming, or
Mm-hmm.
see these ones that are on fucking COD crying because they got sniped. Sit the fuck down. Try jumping across 5 giraffe fucking heats, and then we'll see what rage is.
That and Aladdin. Aladdin was the same way. Aladdin sucked too.
Oh, the old fucking between 1992 and 1996, Disney games can fuck off. It was the same with that. There was a Mickey Mouse game. I can't remember what it was actually called, but there was a Mickey Mouse. It always reminded me of Fantasia, but that game as well, because there was again no save files, and I can remember me and my brother playing it, and this was in one of our first houses, and so I must have been 4. That I could, if it's run about that, and me and my brother sitting playing for hours and really no getting anywhere
Yep.
because you were having to restart fucking constantly. But funnily enough, we kept on going.
Yep.
But I would probably say that was what they games were the ones that I'll always remember actually playing. My first kind of games that I played was the likes of like Tomb Raider and stuff, but it was actually my brother that actually got me into gaming because he was the one that had like the Sega Mega Drive and stuff, and I would just sit and I think that's why I was right when I found out about Twitch, I enjoyed it so much is because I've always enjoyed just watching somebody else play games.
Yeah.
Like I used to sit when I met my first girlfriend when I was like 15. I can remember I would spend the majority of the time in her house watching her play The Sims 4. That was just like it was just like that was how we spent our fucking nights was
Yeah.
just her playing Sims 4 and me watching. Um so it was like watching like my brother play that. It was like Final Fantasy as well. I've never played the only Final Fantasy game I've played was 14. I've seen people play Final Fantasy. I've watched it, but I've never actually played it. It was just always watching my brother because like again, it was that it was just I was shit at games. I'm still shit at games. It was just back then I had a wee bit more like pride where I just
Yeah.
didn't showcase that I was shit at games. Now it's like, well, it's content. People laugh at how shit games I'm at. So, like, apart from Fortnite, I'm actually pretty good at Fortnite.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say I started on Super Nintendo. So it'd be like, Tecmo Bowl, fucking Super Mario, things like that. But when
Mm,
we talk about games that like I was interested in, I would have to say Halo. Just because it was like a connection between me and my dad when he was deployed and stuff. So we would always play
yeah.
that before he'd come home, or like when we go and visit him in the barracks, we would actually have Halo tournaments and we do like one-on-ones. And the one time we went to visit, it was me versus him because his unit was talking shit, saying that he couldn't beat me and stuff. So they had to. We literally set up a TV and we were playing. The whole fucking platoon was behind us watching. And every time I killed him, I teabag and they'd start laughing. They'd be like, "Sarge, what are you doing? Sarge, I thought you were better than this." It was a good time. But yeah, I would have to say probably Halo or like PS2 games like Sly Cooper, things like that
Yeah.
is what really
I
got
think
me
that's
into gaming.
I think once you kind of the best thing about gaming is just how much it can bring people together. Like even people that don't actually play games. I mean, till this, even though we tried, I've still never played a fucking Halo game, which is shocking. But I never had an Xbox or anything
Yeah.
like that. But like even like things like I can remember playing. My mum used to play Crash Bandicoot,
Such a good game.
and she never ever played games, but Crash Bandicoot she would sit and play with us, and fucking Looney Tunes. It's no back in action, but the
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
time one. I can remember coming home from school, and me, my sister, and my mum would be sitting on the family living room PC playing fucking Looney Tunes for
Yeah.
like a couple of hours before dinner and stuff like that. So like I think gaming is it's such an important aspect that doesn't it doesn't get the recognition in society that it really should, because when people don't have a lot, they've got gaming. Like gaming doesn't discriminate. Gaming doesn't like you don't have to have money to game.
Yeah.
Really, like you can really get it anywhere. Like you look at how many games are free to play and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think gaming that's probably one of the bigger reasons as to why I was doing a lot. Like I did like streaming and stuff like that was because it was an activity that it was everybody had that common kind of system.
Yeah.
Like we were all there just to game and enjoy ourselves. And I think that was probably another motivation to kind of be like, yeah, like it is there about like the numbers and stuff like that. At the very beginning it was just I wanted to play a game where the likes of you and Docs and Dread and Zim and all that could come and hang out, and it just kind of snowballed into meeting
Bunch more
more
people. Yeah.
people and being able to kind of broaden that. And I have that gaming has all that to be thankful for. Like that was just a gaming community. So
Yeah.
gaming is very much underrated in mainstream society, but we all fucking know how cool gaming is, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, my mom and them were the same way, you know, they'd actually sit around and we'd all play the Lion King and all that stuff. But then
Yeah.
when she was younger and now even now she'd be like, "Oh, I was a goat at Tetris," and we'd play Tetris and I'd beat her and she'd be like, "You're fucking cheating," and blah blah blah. But even her, she used to play Crash Bandicoot. We get my grandma to play Just Dance with us and do some fun shit like that. So
Yeah.
it just people like you said, I don't think people understand like how it works when it comes to gaming.
Yeah. Yeah, it just seems to it can just build so much a relationship. Like like the amount of stories that you hear of gaming being like I think like one of the best stories that I always think about when I think of gaming is there's a story on like Facebook or something like that, and it was a guy talking about how him and his dad used to always play. It was like Forza or something like that. It was a racing game,
Yeah.
and they used to always play it. And his dad had passed away, and after about 5 years or something like that, he was going to sell his old console, and he booted it up one last time. He had one last race at it, and while he was racing, the ghost car passed him,
Well, and it was
and
his
it was
dad.
the ghost car, his dad's last lap. And he said for like the next like 5 years, he would just race with his dad's ghost car until one day he overtook it, and then he got to the finish line and stopped and let it pass because it was the last kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, those are the kind of stories that you don't really get anywhere else but in gaming. And again, it just shows you that it doesn't have to be this massive big thing. It can be between two people, and that's all that really matters. And that like that connection they'll always have
Yep.
through gaming. So
Absolutely.
it's definitely it's a big motivator as well, knowing like that belief in the memories that you can make. Because like over the last fucking 3 years, the amount of memories that I've got, be it fucking stupid things like driving off a cliff in Far Cry 6 with everybody fucking watching, or um just wee things like that where it's like it's so insignificant, but at the same time it's something that you'll always be able to think me back to, like it was just such a pure, enjoyable moment
Yeah.
that nothing else, all the shit things that were going on around it, that one moment in a sea of shit was actually quite a nice kind of, as much as it was embarrassing, it was still quite a fucking, it was such a great moment.
That's not the
And
road.
yeah, like there's so many wee bits like that, and it's like, it's sometimes as a bit of a struggle to kind of like when you're making fun of somebody, like if Kate does something in a game and you stick at it and go, oh, it's like the whole barrel thing, but like as much as we can sit and comment about, oh, Kate just hides in the barrels during Outlast, I don't think I would want it any other way,
Facts.
because I genuinely love Kate for that whole fucking thing. Like, I would happily play Outlast all the time with Kate hiding in a barrel, even if we never ever won a game, because that that enjoyment came from that. The same way Ken just like, it doesn't feel like Outlast unless Kate's hiding in a barrel and Ken's screaming about something chasing her. Like that's it.
And the mic cuts
That's
out.
yeah. Like that to me is so much more enjoyment over the actual fucking game.
Yeah.
So I think that's like the gaming has such a unique ability to create moments out of nothing. And I think what makes it better is the fact that even somebody else could have a complete different moment on the same thing and it still be considered fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
And that, I think that's one thing that I would love to be able to get more of going forward, is just trying to create more of those little moments that nobody else is going to know or care about, but to me and the people that were involved in it, it's going to be like Pummel Party games. You don't remember all of the Pummel Party games, but there's little moments throughout where it's
Yeah.
just, that was just such a. I'd love to go back to that moment and how we felt it during that moment, because it was a great fucking time. Fucking Pico, like there's, you can literally go through so many things like Pico Park. Like, even though I genuinely wanted to fucking murder you, like I would not have wanted to play that game any differently, because it just wouldn't have had the same effect without having it. And I think that is probably one of the biggest motivations, is knowing that these moments can be created doing it. So why should I make it a difficult thing to go on and stream in game? Just like, it's such a great time.
Yeah.
Just just do it.
Agreed. Yeah, especially even like Fortnite when we're literally just walking around making innuendos the whole time. When we made
Yeah.
Iron die, when,
Yeah.
when we literally lost Iron for a good 5 minutes because he was laughing so hard and we couldn't do anything. And all I said was, "Hey yo!" Like it's just
Yeah,
like
like,
things like that. It's just what makes it so
yeah,
fun.
yeah, and it makes you want to kind of create more. But the problem with that is that you've got so many where it's like there's just no enough time in the week to be able to fucking fit in, because you want to play Fortnite, you want to play Outlast again, you want to play fucking Lethal Company, and it's like, but we literally only have these amount of hours in a
Yeah.
week. We need to, it's I think that I think that would probably be something, a goal, and something that I'd want to look forward to this year. Going back to the original question Kate asked, would be just to create more enjoyable moments like that with anybody that we come across, kind of thing.
Yeah. And I think I'm excited for my birthday week because we'll have Wednesday to play, but then we'll also have Saturday, and I plan on doing like a full day stream, so we'll have so much time to do everything.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. No, it definitely will be a great time to just fucking
Especially if we can get
just
another Pummel
everything.
Party game going, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah. I'd love to get it, because it's just fucking brutal and chaotic, and I love it so fucking much. And I need to try and retain my crown, because I won the last game.
Yeah, I'll never forget when I first lost and you and fucking Kinetic. Fuck you, Titan. Never forget
Oh,
it.
it's a great thing.
I was so hyped too, and then y'all shit on me for no reason. So hyped. Uh, all
But
right.
you wouldn't have it any other way.
Not even a little bit. Not at all. All right, chat. If you guys don't have any more questions, I don't as well. If you would go ahead and plug all your stuff, you probably want to plug your YouTube, right?
Yeah, it's Chrissy C90 across the board, be it fucking Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, fucking Instagram, even though I don't actually use most. I do actually have a fucking profile in most social medias. It's just certain ones I use more than others. Um, I'll be streaming to. Will I be streaming tomorrow night? I might be streaming tomorrow night. It depends if our actual plans are going through, because I don't know if plans are going through. But the biggest plug would be starting Sunday, this coming Sunday, the 4th of February, 8 p.m. GMT, which I think is like noon PST, 3 p.m.
Yeah, 3 my time,
Uh,
3 EST.
yeah. On twitch.tv/ Ready Play Go. It's not on my channel, it's on the Ready Play Go kind of thing, me. We're going to be doing a Alien TTRPG, the role playing game. The cast is phenomenal. It's Docs, Haba, Ghosty, Bill Bob, and Avery, and I'm going to be the GM. I
God.
have a wicked story. Like, I'm genuinely excited for this story to play out. I am going to ruin many lives, break many hearts, and destroy many souls, and it's going to be fan-fucking-tastic. So it'd be great for people to come and enjoy it and watch me completely and utterly destroy the players.
Awesome. Well, you heard him here. You heard it here, chat. Go follow him. Go do all the stuff and things, and check him out on Sunday. But yeah, I appreciate you coming on, man. It was great. Great conversation.
Yeah, no, I'm glad I actually finally had the motivation and willpower to actually come on and actually be able to talk about motivation.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll do it for us, chat. That is episode 3. I hope you guys have a great night.
Night.